Is it over for Call of Duty? Let's actually talk about it. We're going to be talking about the Battle Pass issue, the AI problem, and not only that, the censorship problem. So let's get into it. What's up, everyone? Today we're diving into a topic that's been driving the Call of Duty community crazy. The issues plaguing Black Ops 6. Don't get me wrong, folks, Call of Duty has always been about fast-paced, high-stakes action. But with the way things are designed now, it feels like we're the ones being played. From the Battle Pass system that thrives on FOMO to the highly debated skill-based matchmaking, rumors of skill-based damage, and those frustrating packet bursts. Let's break it all down. Get comfy because we're going deep into this rabbit hole. It's your host, the Ice Light Gaming, one of the best gamers of all time, and let's just get into it. Let's start with the Battle Pass. Remember when you could just unlock content by playing at your own pace? Those days are long gone. Now, we have a system built entirely around FOMO, fear of missing out. The moment a new season drops, the game bombards you with flashy new rewards. Weapon blueprints, operator skins, emblems, maybe calling cards. It all works, but here's the kicker. They're all locked behind a limited time grind. Now, it just makes me wonder, how come we can't just take some lessons from Halo Infinite? When you buy a season, you actually get to keep it until you complete it. Not only that, Black Ops 6 is a $70 game. Why do I have to feel pressure by actually A, spending more money on this Battle Pass, B, there's a time limit, C, how come you guys are actually nerfing the Battle Pass and actually giving us less experience on the Battle Pass? That makes no sense. I bought it. If you don't put in the hours, or worse, that you skip a season, you're out of luck. That cool skin that everyone's rocking, you can't get it. And let's be real, the grind isn't fun, it's tedious. But here's the sinister part. Even if you want to buy tiers to finish the Battle Pass, the prices are absurd. Activision knows they created a problem and they're not selling you to the solution. The entire system preys on our psychological need to not miss out. And here's the funny part. You guys remember Evolve, where people were actually getting mad at Evolve actually selling a skin that cost $5 or $2, I believe, and it was a blue skin gun? Well, man, things have changed because now we're getting skins that are like $20 or even $30. I had a friend who skipped a season. Guess what? He came back, saw everyone running around with glowing animated weapon blueprints, and he was out the door. The message is clear. Stay, grind, or get left behind. And that's so frustrating because you know what? I feel like they can actually keep more players if they actually was like, look, you can buy this Battle Pass at this time. Or like, I feel like there's so many things you could probably do because you spend already $70 on the game, and I know people are gonna say it's just cosmetics, but you know what, like if I put my money down for this cosmetics, I'm basically putting my money down to get a chance to get what I paid for. Stupid.
Responding to the community and trying to address skill-based damage. This is not clickbait, this is not fake news. Call of Duty's official.
Skill-based matchmaking has always been a hot topic in the Call of Duty community. The premise sounds fair. Players should face opponents of similar skill, right? Wrong. In Black Ops 6, SBMM feels less like a tool for fairness and more like a tool for manipulation. Here's how it works. You start your session and maybe you're doing great in your first few games. You're hitting your shots, dominating the leaderboard, feeling unstoppable. Then bam, the next lobby feels like the Call of Duty League finals. You're going against players who move like their controllers are surgically attached to their hands. Why? Because the game isn't just matching skill, it's optimizing for engagement. The algorithm is designed to keep you in a constant loop of highs and lows. Too many wins? Here's a match to humble you. Too many losses? Here's a bot lobby to rebuild your confidence. It's not about fairness, it's about ensuring you don't leave the game. If you're always dominating, you might get bored. If you're always losing, you might quit. SBMM is trying to keep you on a treadmill of frustration and satisfaction, a carefully calculated emotional roller coaster. Now, let's tackle the elephant in the room, skill-based damage. The theory is that the game adjusts the damage you deal and take based on your skill level or performance in a match. Sounds far-fetched, right? But let's look at the evidence. Have you ever landed a perfect headshot, clean aim, dead to rights, only for your opponent to tank the hit and kill you instead? Or fired the same weapon in another match and shredded someone in milliseconds? Players have been sharing clips online where damage inconsistencies are glaring. Of course, Activision denies it, but the lack of transparency doesn't help. The community has left speculating, and when you combine this with the SBMM and the lag issues, it's hard to not feel like the game is actively working against you. One time I hit a player point blank with a shotgun only for them to survive and delete me with a single pistol shot. I checked the replay. It didn't even register as armor damage. Coincidence? Maybe. Oh no, I don't play multiplayer very much. But how many coincidences can we take before it stops feeling like one? But now let's talk about the most frustrating issue: packet burst lag. You're in the middle of a heated gunfight, milliseconds from a victory, and suddenly your screen stutters, your character freezes, your shots don't register, and when the dust settles, you're on the respawn. It's always at the worst possible time. Why does it never happen when you're running around the map or reloading? Why does it always seem to happen when you're one kill away from a streak or about to turn the tide of a match? Some players have started to wonder if this isn't just a server issue, but another layer of engagement manipulation. Imagine the game suddenly ensures you don't dominate too much by introducing lag at key moments. Sounds crazy, right? But it keeps happening. These issues aren't just minor annoyances, they fundamentally break the experience. The battle pass makes the game feel like a job. SBMM makes every match a roller coaster of frustration. Rumors of skill-based damage just ruins the trust in the mechanics, and packet burst lag feels like the cherry on the top of a manipulative sundae. The bigger question is, where does this leave us? As players, we're supposed to be enjoying ourselves, but instead we're questioning every mechanic. Is this fair? Is this intentional? And most importantly, is this fun? Call of Duty has always been about adrenaline, skill, and competition, but Black Ops 6 feels like it shifted focus from creating a fun, engaging experience to squeezing every ounce of time, money, and patience out of its players. Whether it's transparency about mechanics, fairer matchmaking, or a less predatory battle pass system, we deserve a game that respects our time and skills. But what's your take on these issues? Have you experienced the FOMO grind, the SBMM manipulation, or those suspicious packet bursts? Let me know in the comments. Let's push for a Call of Duty that's fun for everyone again. Quantity or quality? That's actually the hot topic of today. It is I, the greatest gamer of all time, and we're gonna actually be talking about quantity versus quality. Call of Duty is a quantity thing, let's just be honest here. We actually found out by YouTuber Codfather, who actually talks about how the AI is actually using multiplayer maps, which is absolutely crazy. So AI is creating these multiplayer maps, and even though Codfather is telling them, right, and he's like expecting people to wake up, right, it also makes me think that, like, when I asked my friend, and I asked him, I said, look, why are you still playing Call of Duty? He says, look, I don't care. You know, that's what he says. So even though he's just one person, I get there's just one dude. He's just one, right? But it also makes me think, okay, how many people actually think like him though, right? I was talking to him, and I was talking to actually multiple people too. And it was kind of funny. So their new game came out, and it was Silent Hill 2. And I like to think that game is pretty much like very high in quality, right? Very cool. I think it seems actually like a really, really great game. And it is, you know, even when my friends were playing it and talking about it, it's great, right? But the fact is, what is so amazing is the fact that once they complete the game, they're done. They drop it. It's over. It's done, right? It's over now. And Call of Duty in that way is a quantity thing. Everything is to grind for. Everything. Oh man, you want some cool augments? Grind for this. If you want some cool camos, grind for this. If you want this, grind for that. And then you also have the FOMO thing. Then you have the battle passes. You have everything, right? They even are not even hiding on the fact that they are using AI, because there is this Santa Claus zombie who has 6 fingers. So this whole fact that they are using AI, they're not hiding it. They do not care. But what's funny though is that when I I realized when I talk to people, and I've been playing these zombie matches with so many randoms, right? And I've been asking them about it. They end up saying they don't care either. It just seems like quantity is better, because like on the simple fact is that maybe Call of Duty is just such a established brand that no matter what they do, we're gonna buy it, right? I actually even found myself actually really thinking about that for a moment. Like I was thinking, okay, if the operator was made by AI, would people actually not purchase it? And I actually think that's funny, because I feel like people would still purchase operator skins even if they were made by AI, right? And it's so crazy, which I already talked about it before. The operator skins are insanely like high in price, which is crazy to me, man. It's crazy. We're talking about $30 skins or $20 skins. Holy moly, man. And it makes me think, wow, back in the day, right? You know, obviously we can always keep going back and back, like, bro, dude, we never even had DLCs. Watch, okay, hear me out, okay? Back in the day, when a DLC came out for Black Ops 1, I believe it was $15 or $10. I think it was $10 or $15, right? And let's think about that. They put a lot of these 4 maps, they put these zombie maps, and they actually had to put quality into it, right? They had to, because we were paying for it, right? Now let's look at the zombie maps that we have now, right? Since this honeymoon phase really ended, I started looking at the zombie maps, right? Liberty Falls is probably like the worst map when it comes down to personality. It just seems honestly just bad. I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I don't. And Terminus, well, Terminus is okay. It's all right. My friend really doesn't like Terminus because, like he said, like I was saying, it doesn't have any personality to it. You're just a base that's on an island. For me, in my opinion, I mean, I kind of like it that you're going in the water and you're going to this, you know, you're driving the boat and stuff. But even then, I'm like, why do I need to drive the boat? Well, where do I need to go? There's nowhere to go. So it's kind of frustrating with that, because now I'm thinking, well, there's really nothing to do but be here on this main area, right? So there's no point in me traveling at other places. Then you have Liberty Falls, like I was saying. Liberty Falls is such a freaking boring map. It's just a town. It's bright in the day. There's no wow factor. There's nothing to it, right? And it makes it seem like, man, it seems like they just kind of did it because they had to do it for a second map for zombies. I'm not too sure. Maybe I'm just assuming, you know, I could be completely wrong. Maybe they took a long time to make the map, but man, oh man, dude, it just feels really bland. It really does. And it's crazy because it makes me think, man, what is better, quantity or quality? And it seems like quantity is better. It really does. It seems like it. It's no matter what they do, that, you know, we'll purchase something from it. We find out Codfather can make 10 videos, which it seems like he's been making tons of videos about how, like, oh yeah, an insider actually came out and he said, bro, dude, they actually are making AI and they're firing voice actors, right? Which they are. They're firing some voice actors, right? I think they're firing Samantha and they're replacing her with another voice actor so that way they can use AI. And it's crazy because it makes me think nobody freaking cares. Nobody really honestly super cares about it so much, it feels like. Okay, so for me as a person, like, I'm not speaking for everyone else, like for me, I feel like, I don't know if I'm just setting my standards super low, and that's why, like, I'm like, oh, Black Ops 6 is awesome, like, it's amazing, right? Or like Black Ops 6 actually is cool and it's a great game, and they just maybe just didn't put that much work into it. Maybe you don't need to put that much work to make it an actual great game. But I don't know, though. That's what's so interesting, because if you think about it, Black Ops 6, the biggest selling point they had was the Omni movement. And which is also funny because when I talked to some of my friends, they didn't even know what that was, right? And even my brother, I'm going to be honest, he's not really a Call of Duty player. I asked him, yeah, it's the Omni movement. And he says, oh, what is that? I said, oh, you can move left, right, and up and down. And he said, oh, okay. So just moving. So it's kind of funny because it makes me think, like, damn, man, like, maybe just, like I was saying, maybe just Call of Duty is just such an established brand, like, we'll just purchase it, right? Like, I know I will, to be honest. I am going to purchase it. Like, I probably would purchase the next Call of Duty, and I can't tell you why. Maybe there's just nothing else that's like Call of Duty, you know? And I know people are going to say, like, oh, X Defiant. And that's also really interesting, too, because I feel like, in a weird way, skill-based matchmaking did win, right? Like, I made a video about that. It seemed like skill-based matchmaking did win. it seems like it actually does increase engagement, and it seems like it actually does make it better, right? And it's kind of makes me think like that too. Like, AI fully runs Call of Duty. AI is like the CEO of Treyarch in a way, right? Like, AI is the CEO of freaking Call of Duty, and it just makes me think like, man, like, is it like, is that a good thing or a bad thing, right? Like people would probably say, well, that's a bad thing, right? Because, you know, it's funny because when growing up, I always thought like quality was better, right? But as I grow older, right, now I realize quantity is kind of better. Like, it really does seem like it's better. Like, we get Call of Duty every year. We still actually spend so much money on it. And me and my friend were talking about it too. We were talking on the fact, like, who makes more money? Would it be Rockstar or Call of Duty, right? A lot of people say maybe Rockstar with their monetization tactics, but even then I would say, man, maybe Call of Duty, or maybe it's neck and neck in a way, because we still purchase Call of Duty, which is now $70 every freaking year now, and we purchase actually skins and operators that, like I was saying, that's $20 to $30, and then they use the FOMO tactics that I love talking about, and then they use a bunch of paywall stuff, man. So it makes me think, man, I don't know. I guess I don't know. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, the latest installment in a series known for its intense action and gritty storylines and mature themes. But in an area where games are rated for adults, why does it feel like we're being treated like children? Let's dive into why censorship in an 18+ game is a growing issue.
You can afford me, Daddy. You cannot afford me.
That Raikkonen guy is absolutely trash, bro. We're gonna win this easily.
Oh, yo, you guys hear that baby, bro? Did you hear that baby?
Disgusting, yeah.
First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. Call of Duty is rated M for mature, aka you need to be at least 18 to legally buy this game. That means blood, gore, strong language, and dark themes should be part of this delicious course. And for years, Call of Duty delivered on that promise. But in Black Ops 6, things feel watered down. Blood splatters fade too quickly, language is toned down, and controversial story elements are seemingly avoided altogether. Why? It's not just about violence for violence sake. Call of Duty has always leaned into its realism, immersing players in brutal battlefields and morally complex stories. Censorship chips away at the immersion and makes a gritty war game feel boring. If this is war, where's the weight? Where's the realism that makes us think, wow, war is a nasty place? Black Ops 6 dilutes what made Call of Duty stand out in the first place. But let's compare the campaigns of Modern Warfare to what we're getting today. The original Modern Warfare trilogy was all about the chaos and brutality of war. It didn't shy away from the hard choices or showing the toll of conflict. Missions like All Guild Up or the infamous No Russian, they were statements about the horrors and complexities of war. The focus was on the mission, survival, and making impossible decisions in impossible circumstances. Fast forward to today, and we have moments in campaigns where soldiers are asked about their pronouns. In a battlefield setting, does it really matter? War doesn't care about your pronouns, your preference, or your background. It cares about whether or not you can get the job done. This is the kind of immersion-breaking inclusion that feels out of place in a game about life and death situations. It's like the gritty realism that defined Call of Duty has been replaced with something more concerned about ticking boxes than delivering an authentic experience. The focus has shifted, and for many longtime fans, it feels like a step backward. This isn't just a Call of Duty problem, it feels like every M-rated franchise is dialing things back. Halo used to feel darker. Games that used to embrace their M rating are now towing the line, aiming to appeal to younger audience. And while we're on the topic, why does every game feel the need to make a statement now? Fortnite, a game designed for children, telling players to vote for a specific political side. why? Why can't games just be games anymore? Call of Duty, Fortnite, everything feels like it's trying to push an agenda instead of just letting players have fun. And let's not pretend we don't know why. Kids are the moneymakers, not Billy Bob who works a 9 to 5 and only gets a couple hours of gaming in after work. Kids have the time, the energy, and thanks to their parents, the wallets. But should that mean we compromise the integrity of an 18+ game? Take Gears of War for example. The series was once defined by its gritty atmosphere and horrifying enemy designs. Remember the eerie feeling of stepping into locust-infested tunnels? It was dark and haunting, but as the series progressed, it shifted toward a more light-hearted tone, with over-the-top action often taking center stage. Thankfully, the latest installment is showing signs of returning to its roots, bringing back that balance of horror and grittiness fans loved.
Now, it has something known as Upload Studio, where people can upload their gameplay and share it with other users. And it turns out that Xbox, or I should say Microsoft, is really coming down hard on those that use excessive profanity. In fact, they will ban users that upload videos with excessive profanity, which is a little questionable because a lot of games have profanity in them. So users are wondering, first of all, what's the standard? How much profanity is too much? And second of all, isn't there a double standard here when a lot of games use profanity in the first place? Now, Microsoft did respond to the criticism, and here's what they had to say. We want a clean, safe, and fun environment for all users. Excessive profanity as well as other code of conduct violations will be enforced upon and result in suspension of some or all privileges on Xbox Live.
Let's pivot to another form of censorship. Public lobbies. In Black Ops 6, it feels like no one talks anymore. Why? Because you can get banned for saying something controversial. I made a video a while back about how no one talks in games anymore, and now I understand why. We've reached a point where adults can't even talk to each other in an 18+ game without fear of being reported. If there's a kid in the lobby, guess what? Welcome to adulthood. Or maybe get off the game entirely. These games aren't made for you. Remember when public lobbies were wild, chaotic, and yes, sometimes toxic? It wasn't perfect, but it was raw and unfiltered. You could mute people if you didn't like it. Now, instead of empowering players to handle their own experiences, developers silence everyone. This trend isn't limited to games though. Even gaming YouTubers are increasingly targeting kids. Flashing edits, exaggerated reactions, and safe, non-controversial commentary dominates the platform. Sure, it's great for views, but there's a larger problem. Gaming culture itself is being reshaped to appeal to children. Even creators like Video Game Donkey have left certain games behind due to the censorship. League of Legends, for example, became so heavily moderated that it sapped the fun out of it. And now it feels like every game is following suit. So what can be done? For starters, give us the tools to manage our own experience. If someone's being offensive, we can mute them. Wait, we can actually already do that. If you're easily offended, stick to party chat. It's not hard. Secondly, let's bring back the gritty, raw tone that defined these games. If a title is rated M, let it be M. Stop worrying about offending people who shouldn't even be playing the game in the first place. Video games should be video games. If you're gonna be making a game that actually is set in World War I or some history event, don't change anything to fit your whole agenda. Just make the game, make it fun, and just have a blast making it. That's what it's all about. But instead, it feels like every company, every game feels like they need to make a statement. But like I said, games are just games. So just make the greatest video game of all time and not make something so political. Just make a good video game. The greatest gamer of all time is signing off.
Slaying all these dragons, no, I'm not imagining. The problems keep on piling on my